Hello. This is the first episode of Real Talk with Justin Powell.
Tanner Fenton, boy.
Kevin Pratt,
and Matthew Young.
Okay, so before we get to our topic, let's talk about anything we've been watching recently. So, have we seen it? What movies have you guys been seeing?
I've actually watched the movie Room. It came out. It was actually
Oh,
really good. It was
You mean-
Yeah, I heard Brie Larson was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it was really
You mean Room or The Room?
No, Room, not The Room. The
Yeah, I
Room.
haven't seen that yet.
The Room is the really crappy one with Tommy Wiseau. No,
Yeah. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mom.
Room.
Yeah, no, it's just Room. Just
good.
all in caps, just one word, Room, and it was really good.
Okay.
I liked it.
Okay.
Now, quick question: Do you think Brie Larson should get the Oscar for Best Actress for that performance?
I think so. I mean, like, I think she did a really good job. Like, I don't know, it was really hard to explain because most of the honestly, it starts off so slow. Like, we both know that. Room starts off extremely slow, to the point where mostly the first 30 minutes are pretty passive. But it does have a really good job of pacing it out.
Really?
So she does a really good job of filling the gaps within this sort of like what should be considered an empty space. She does a really good job of filling the gaps.
Ooh.
Well, I have nothing to say. I haven't seen the movie, so.
Yeah, no, you can't
All
say
right.
it.
I thought it was good.
I saw The Revenant.
Oh, the
Oh,
Revenant.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
DiCaprio.
How was DiCaprio?
Oh man, that movie was awesome. It was very brutal though. Basically,
Oh, yeah.
if I were to name the movie, I would call it Leonardo DiCaprio gets tortured for 2 hours.
Nice.
And
What kind of movie?
Poor
Yeah.
DiCaprio.
yeah, I mean, you can really see like on his acting, what he put on his acting face in the movie. Like I was just thinking that he was probably thinking in this movie, like, do it for the Oscar, do it for the Oscar.
I don't think maybe he didn't have to act. Maybe he really was tortured
Like,
inside.
it was like-
tortured by the Academy.
It's all about the method acting.
Because
It's
like
so
there was
cool.
this
All about
one
the
part
method
where he was like reaching out, and I was like imagining he was reaching for an
Speaking of
Oscar.
method
Reaching
acting.
for the Oscar.
Speaking
Oh.
of method acting, the whole controversy between Jared Leto and his portrayal as the Joker, the director's going nuts because he's like, the director's saying Jared Leto's scaring me. He's getting so into it, but he's doing all these like dumb things where it's like saying super deep and intellectual and philosophical questions, but in reality he's just acting like an idiot. I don't think Jared Leto has ever even read a Batman comic.
Well, I don't know.
I
I watched the Suicide Squad trailer. It looked interesting to me. I mean, like I'm
No, yeah, the movie looks great. It's just
I'm-
Jared Leto's portrayal
yeah.
of the Joker.
The only thing that I'm sort of annoyed with about where the movie is going right now is that I like the cynical tone, but I feel like the costume design for almost everyone except Cheshire and is it Cheshire? I think it's Cheshire and Harley Quinn is sort of just like knee pads, army pants.
Yeah, it's like over militarized.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see something better in the actual movie.
It's like
feel like I've seen it,
the Batman movies, but Shadow the Hedgehog edition. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
edgy
yeah,
and
yeah.
black as possible.
yeah.
Yeah, it feels something grungy. When I think of it, like I see the movie, I somehow think this reminds me of the '90s somehow. Like we see some of the stuff that they look at.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
that's,
that
that's,
Some of the
Yeah,
stuff they
it's
wear,
got some
sorry.
good stuff. Yeah.
But-
so,
And then Jared Leto, I'm pretty sure the character that they designed in the first place wasn't meant to be like the character in the comics. So I mean, I wouldn't
Yeah.
put a whole bunch of that on Jared Leto, and he's a fantastic.
Oh yeah, he was in
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody. He was really good in Mr. Nobody.
At Dallas Buyers Club, he got the Oscar for that.
Yeah.
I also saw Legend of the Fist: Return of Chen. That
What?
it's,
I no idea.
What is
no
that?
idea.
it's a Chinese movie.
Alright.
That stars like a famous martial artist named Chen. He was, well, basically, there's Chinese movies have a tendency of doing this, of like being about World War II. like you know how like movies nowadays always try to like take any sort of concept and like make it into some sort of like, I don't know, a traditional story structure with like a villain and stuff like that. Well, for China, it's like we take anything from any time and stick it in World War II so the Chinese can fight against the Japanese. And because the thing is, Chen Zhen was just like a teacher at a martial arts school, if I remember correctly, and they made him into some sort of Batman, like in the rebellion
Oh my
against
God.
against the Japanese.
Rebellion.
Yeah, it's like,
Rebellion against the Japanese.
yeah, well, I mean, like China sort of got their kicked in World War II. Oh man,
Swear,
I
swear jar.
By the way, our podcast has a no swear policy. Sorry.
So you're not gonna
whatever.
fit any of
Sorry, Miss Limmer.
that. All right.
All right.
And Miss
Well,
Limmer is our instructor. She's in charge of all this. And,
All right.
Star Wars. We've all seen
Yes.
Star Wars.
I've
Oh,
seen
okay.
that Star Wars. I've seen it.
Force Awakens.
Oh,
All
boy.
right.
shoot.
Before we get
Seen
into our
it.
main topic, let's talk about what we think of the newest installment. Loved it.
I've seen
it
thought
3
was
times.
fantastic,
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah.
I only saw it once, but like it captured that kind of imaginative feeling that Star Wars always gives you. They
What?
Yes! Oh yeah,
But,
score was amazing in that. Congratulations.
Funny,
Oh my
like
God.
I love the performance by all the new people. Like the only performances that sort of gave me trouble was actually the performances by the old cast.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like
I wish Carrie Fisher.
I liked
would've-
Harrison Ford. I feel like
I
Carrie
didn't feel like
Fisher
she didn't know.
didn't really know what she was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know, because like there were a couple of cut scenes and almost all of them involved Carrie Fisher, and I
Did you
feel
call
like
them cutscenes?
cut scenes that were
Oh,
cut.
cutscene. I thought
Oh,
like, no,
like,
like
deleted
scenes.
scene, deleted
Yeah,
scene.
I thought you meant like no,
Deleted
Justin.
scenes.
This is a movie. It's all one cutscene. It's not a video game, dude.
Oh man.
So
Force Awakens, the video game.
I'm,
Press X to spin. Traitor.
Okay.
So like I was saying, I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it twice in 2D and once in IMAX 3D. I will
Ooh,
say,
fancy.
if you're gonna see it in IMAX 3D, the sound is just I would see it for the sound if you're going for IMAX 3D. The visuals are pretty good, but to me the sound
The
was
surround
just so much
sound.
better.
I saw
Surround
the
sound,
tops it all off,
good
of course.
bass, good subwoofer, just
I saw-
that was
I
great
saw
sound.
It was great.
The,
So-
the XD
Now,
thing. That took
yeah.
Now,
Alright.
as for the writing for the characters, maybe something interpretations like, General Leia now,
Yeah.
just seemed a little too calm. Just,
Yeah,
just in
yeah.
general, especially all the stuff that's happened to her. Like, okay, her husband, ex-husband, just keeps like,
Spoilers. Wait, it's been
Well,
long
you know-
enough. Spoilers. So.
you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
we
yeah,
should
we
we should
know.
at least know by now that her husband is just giving her so much heck. Okay, and then she just not seem the slightest bit upset at him, even though she's very headstrong and,
Yeah,
very.
they meet up and it's like, oh,
But-
hey, haven't seen you.
but
in a
going-
while.
And then she
What's
seems,
up,
seems
dude?
very, very peaceful. She's
Yeah,
but
and-
it's
Dude,
very
going-
different because she's in charge of
Yeah, I'm not
finding her brother who ran off. We all know that he ran off, of course. That's the
Yeah.
premise. And then she's like all by herself and like trying to get this rebellious army to go off something that's against this not resistance. What am I trying to say?
It's First
here?
Order. First Order.
First
yeah.
Order with the Star Killer base, which is we all know by now, massive, bigger,
Huge. Much bigger than the Death Star.
yeah.
Or we're
So
talking like a different
why
thing,
is she
really
not?
planet.
Yeah.
Why is she?
Moon, planet.
Okay.
You can
Also,
get
you
it.
have to consider why is like you have to realize like Han Solo's one of his character developments in the original trilogy was that he becomes less of a coward. He stops like running away from things and he like kind of confronts it.
Well, yeah,
I think
but
she's
I
coming
feel
out.
like he's allowed. Like in the original trilogy, he was just running away from sort of a responsibility. In the new trilogy, he's running away from the fact that his son has become a
That-
genocidal maniac.
That's because he
And I
thinks
feel
it's-
like that's
he
sort
thinks
of
it's his
understa-
responsibility.
I heard Kylo Ren.
But I mean, there's a difference between responsibility of, hey, don't abandon your friend, go help him out, as opposed to, yeah, your son is like killed lots of people.
bat nuts.
But I mean,
out of his hands for
Yeah.
the most part. Yeah.
go
Now, Ray.
Ray.
Sorry,
Rey is a
I have one more.
fantastic character.
See,
I
yeah.
love her.
So
She-
complex, good
I
mystery.
wouldn't say she has a complex history, but not.
Yes.
But
Yes, I agree with that.
given her circumstances, she seems almost a little too perfect for me. She seems like the ideal strong female lead character that we've
Here's
seen
the
in quite a
thing.
few.
Like, here's the thing. There are some accusations going around the net that that Rey is a Mary Sue. I highly disagree, and here's why. And spoiler alert, but whatever. She got 8 people killed when she completely messed up with like the circuit breakers on Han's ship. She got completely KO'd by Kylo Ren in their first fight. And in their second fight, she was pretty much KO'd. She was taken out first. And so, like, I feel like her moments of greatness are only sort of stand out because she, like, sort of was kind of a wuss in earlier parts of the movie. And the fact that she was able to win against Kylo Ren didn't bother me very much because it's already shown that she was a very proficient melee fighter with, like,
It's called a melee.
melee.
I think it's a melee.
Yeah.
Melee, which she
fighter.
had her staff
With
in the
her
very
staff,
beginning, but
and-
she.
And
finished
we don't know where
pretty
that's
But-
leading. If she doesn't get a double-bladed lightsaber,
Oh,
I'm gonna be
jeez.
pissed.
But alright. So if we
Ticked. Beep.
Pissed isn't a curse.
if we
No.
think about it, so But like you were saying, she had those moments. But you gotta think that's just raw fighting. Like she had no Jedi training, right?
Mhm.
Right?
Okay.
No Jedi training yet. But she's
Which-
already got enough power to go against this
Okay,
guy.
which
Also-
explains why
That's
she
been,
was
that's
able
been
to fight.
trained by this Snoke, who's very mysterious.
Well, okay, you have
We
to
don't
also
know
realize Snoke. It's in the same way. Like you didn't see any of Snoke's like lightsaber fighting abilities. You didn't see any of that. In fact,
You
it's
saw a
kind of like
hologram. It's just a hologram.
Yeah.
yeah. It seems like he's more of a Force user, like Sidious. He's more of a Force user.
to me, if like the whole point of Kylo Ren's character, a lot of people are saying like he's not as cool as Vader. I feel like the whole point is that he's not as cool as Vader.
He's trying to live up to
Like
that legacy.
the thing is like at the beginning of the movie you think he's gonna be just like Vader, and because they show him being extremely cool and intimidating and stuff. But then when he takes off the mask, you sort of start noticing he's kind of a wuss. And then like I feel like the fact that Rey defeats him is sort of the logical conclusion. Because think about it, Kylo Ren was grievously wounded because Chewbacca had shot him with his beast of a gun. He was probably very emotionally distressed because of also Rey's will at that moment was probably a lot stronger than his, and also he probably was at least a little bit winded from fighting Finn, and also it's if you read the novelization, she was using the dark power of the dark side to fight him because she thought that Finn was dead. So like I don't know.
That's an interesting point there.
Also,
So that would kind of explain why she was able to
That
fend it
whole
off so
fight-
well.
Yeah.
that whole fight
Yeah.
was a really good part of the movie because there's so
Yeah,
many
it's like-
small details.
Yeah.
Not only because it's kind of cool because
The
a lot
snow
of
on the
people
lightsaber
were
was one
worried
of
that
them.
Rey was gonna be like, oh, damsel in distress, has to be rescued by Finn.
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
gets down after her, and she comes up and kind of rescues him, and that was the cool part. Is that like
Well, I
Tries
was
to
think it's a
avenge
good,
him.
it's a good
Because
twist
she
on
thinks
a
he's dead.
classic.
well, she was more
classic
avenging
thing.
him because she
Yeah.
thought he was dead.
like in the beginning, like when he holds her hand, it's more he's doing that for his calm of
Yeah.
mind. He's not doing it to try to keep her safe. No, he's freaked out. He's doing it for his comfort.
Yeah,
I thought that
I feel
was
like
funny.
the point of Finn's character is that he and Rey are both naive about like the world in completely different ways.
Mhm.
Like Rey has like street smarts and stuff like that,
Mhm.
but Finn has this knowledge of the galaxy that he's probably got from like working as a stormtrooper. So I feel like that's how their dynamic is, and I don't really know how their relationship's gonna evolve throughout these three movies, and because Finn is in a coma right now, and Rey's gone off to go. Rey's gone off to
To
go
training.
like have a dance party with.
Okay, well, yeah.
By the way, the best episode title for episode 8 will be Luke Who's Back.
Luke, who's back?
Luke, who's
I
back,
thought when
back again. Okay.
I thought what I really liked from the movie, one of the things, just a great movie overall, as I've said, is there wasn't too much Luke Skywalker in there, which I liked. I thought
No,
he would have
yeah.
taken away from the other characters
a lot
if he
of
was in there
people-
any more than he was at the end.
A lot of people were saying like, why wasn't there any Luke? But the thing is, they weren't lying to us. Luke was barely in the trailers. In fact, was he even in the trailers? He was like there for like
so.
1
Well,
second.
yeah, he was
No,
there.
I don't think he was.
Yeah.
Well, he was
He
there
was
with
in-
R2D2 on that.
Yeah, for like
Yeah,
1
just
second.
the holograph for
And
1
he
second.
wasn't on the poster or anything, so I mean, it's not like they were lying to us. They were lying to us about Captain Phasma, but
Yeah,
he takes a
where was
similar-
Captain
Yeah.
Phasma the whole time?
I mean, they were trying to
no
create.
combat. I didn't
They were trying to create another Boba Fett out of her, as in like, because Boba Fett is a character that barely did anything, yet he's one of the most beloved characters in the entire
Yeah.
series. But like, I feel like they were trying to do something similar, and how I feel like it's ironic because the actual Boba Fett of the movie is Traitor.
Yeah, that's right. But
because of his 6 spins.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Well, then again, you have to realize like they're trying to put Luke Skywalker into a similar position of Obi-Wan
Or
Yeah.
Yoda.
or yeah, kind of. So he's not like
I think
he's
it's
an
more
important
of a-
figure, but he's not the most important figure. He's not a protagonist anymore.
Yeah,
He's now officially a supporting character.
I feel like his dynamic,
which is good.
I feel like his dynamic is going to be similar to Yoda, because Yoda, like, it's revealed in the prequels that Yoda was on Dagobah because he's sort of like running away from his failures, and I feel like Luke is very much doing the same.
Yeah, but
I
this
think
time-
it's taking on more of that Yoda thing.
This time I feel
Yeah.
like
Yoda figure.
I feel like Luke is gonna get way more of a redemption arc than Yoda did.
Yeah,
Yoda did.
yeah.
Yoda's
Okay,
kind
yeah.
of popped down.
That's because they sort of thought of that after the fact.
But one thing. Okay, sorry. Can we go back and talk about one of the I want to bring up this point on the Rey and Kylo fighting scene.
Okay.
For one,
Oh, yeah.
for one thing, Okay, for one thing, you have to realize that Kylo Ren is the complete, like, epitome of undefined fighting. While he was trained,
To an extent, he doesn't have like
yeah.
a legit.
He wasn't- okay,
yeah.
It's a very
Luke-
different lightsaber.
Yeah,
so
Luke,
it's like-
again, then you have to realize Luke
Is it
didn't really
even a
train
lightsaber?
them. Because Luke wasn't trained in
yeah.
lightsabers, Luke was trained in the Force and just controlling his emotions.
Yeah, like
But
the thing
I mean,
is,
controlling the Force leads to better lightsaber control because the lightsaber is insinuated that it puts force on.
Yeah, I mean,
But then again,
like-
I like the more lightsaber.
I mean, let's
Yeah.
think about. I mean, think about it. Luke had next to no lightsaber training in episodes 4 and 5, and yet he was able to hold his own against Vader. And
Yeah.
in episode 6, did he get trained more? I mean, in the extended universe, stuff doesn't count. So he beat Anakin Skywalker with next to no training.
You have to realize Anakin Skywalker is insinuated to be one of the most powerful Jedi ever.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
not only was his
He
midichlorian
wasn't
count
sure. Nah.
higher than anyone else's,
Well,
he was
we're
a-
getting into the
Well,
meat
we're
of the
getting
prequel.
into many Corians. Like.
he was a literal Force baby. He was born from the Force.
Yeah.
All the Force
Force
midichlorians.
Jesus.
Yes, all like the Force midichlorians, which are like the microscopic organisms that give people control of the Force.
Lie.
They just sort of made him in what's his mom's name?
Shmi.
Shmi?
Shmi.
Yeah,
Shmi Skywalker.
Shmi Skywalker. But so going back to I think someone was like, "What if Rey is the Skywalker?" And I guess that's believable.
I believe
I feel
Kenobi.
like it-
I go for Kenobi right now, or like
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility she
I
could be
think it's
Kenobi and a
Skywalker.
Skywalker.
I
As
think it's
both
Skywalker.
Kenobi and Skywalker. I think I heard that from someone. I think it's kind of a possibility.
But-
Obi-Wan.
But how could she be a Kenobi? Because I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi seems like the kind of guy who wouldn't break that Jedi code of
Yeah,
marriage
that is true.
and-
Yeah, but like once the,
He did.
He did in the Clone Wars.
He did with that Duchess in the Clone Wars. So
Yeah, so
That's
technically.
true.
so
I mean,
and
Oh, if
Rey,
we get it-
granddaughter,
oh.
maybe, huh?
What? Yeah.
Because I mean, like they both have a
Could
similar
be.
accent, and when you see like the pod that was, I was want to say dry, but it was flying off when Rey was dropped off at Jakku. That looks a heck of a lot like a vehicle that Obi-Wan Kenobi was driving.
Yeah, Jedi cruisers.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a very good theory out there right now is that Rey was one of the children that Luke was training, and
Ooh.
Wiped her
basically,
memory.
and her memory got wiped.
That
that would make
after the
that would
genocide.
make great sense. Actually.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I feel and like she sort of attributed Luke leaving to her parents leaving, and I feel
That
like
is a very
I
good
think
theory.
that's that it's possible because I feel like that adds an extra layer of depth to the Luke and Rey scene at the end because Luke like the interpretation I get from the Luke and Rey scene at the end is that he's just like sort of looking at her, he's realizing that he can't really run away from what he did before anymore.
Yeah.
But I feel like on the other hand, it's like if he sees one of his former students that doesn't know who he is anymore, sort of like giving him giving him that lightsaber. I feel like that adds an extra layer of depth, and words.
Well, we were
There's
talking about
a-
many Corians earlier, so
Right.
let's go to prequel talk.
Okay, so
Wait, can I
our
finish
main
the one?
our
the
main-
one-
Alright,
can I-
alright.
Can I finish one thing about the
Okay.
Kylo Ren
Real
fight
quick,
scene?
real quick.
It's my favorite scene in there because one of my favorite things is that you see him walking. I think if you guys remember this, you see him walking away and he kind of beats his wound, like where he got
Yeah,
shot. He
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
beats it,
Yeah.
and I saw that less as just I'm gonna beat the wound shut because that's not how it works.
Well, I feel
I
like
feel
he
like
was doing that because he wanted to make himself pain.
He
like,
wanted
feel-
that spark of anger. He wanted to
Yeah.
remind himself that he's gone too far. He's gone it's too late.
Well,
kind of
pain is what brings out the dark
Yeah,
side.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's
he wanted to be angry and desperate and
you know
not only angry at himself
fuel
but
me.
saddened. He wanted
Yeah,
to
he
feel
wanted
negative
to-
emotion from
he
feeling.
wanted to put himself through a lot of emotion to build it all up and then release it all, right? He used it
Yeah.
for his
Yeah.
fight.
And that's my favorite thing about it is that
So-
he's so unstable, and you can see it in his fighting style, his emotion. And when Rey sees him, when he first takes off his mask, it's not like, oh no, he's hot, even though Kylo Ren is a hot.
Okay.
He's like hot.
And-
But she sees this guy, and it's
Sorry,
just a
Adam,
baby,
but, like-
not really a baby face, but like, she sees a young man.
because
And
everyone
she-
thinks
and
he's like scarred and
Yeah.
No, he's just this young
figured,
man,
but
and he's like,
yeah.
and she sees the face of a killer. I mean,
Add it-
Kylo Ren, he has his like moments where you see humanity, you do see a vulnerable side, but he's a killer. He's a bad person. He's evil. But then she sees this, and she recognizes for the first time that a human, because remember she didn't live with humans, can also be evil. It can be a killer, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
And adding on to my to my Rey is one of Luke's pupils theory. I think like this is probably a long shot, but I thought, what if she was a Knight of Ren?
She would be too. No.
No.
Well,
I think
maybe
she'd be more
related to
dark
someone
side
from the
female.
Knight of Ren,
Maybe.
further adding reason to.
Here's the thing:
use
in the novelization of The Force Awakens, during the lightsaber fight, after Rey starts to beat Kylo Ren says like, "It's you," so that means like he recognizes her or something.
But I think that's more of a. She was one of Luke's.
yeah, maybe.
Trainees.
So let's move on to our main topic.
Oh boy.
Let's
So,
go.
I've noticed that we've all noticed that everybody has their own version of how to make the prequels good. And while Star Wars is still a marginally topical topic, we decided to weigh in on what our versions of the prequels would be. And we all sort of came up with some notes, and we're going to fight this out.
Oh boy. Okay, do I
We're
want to
gonna
go first?
fight.
Does anyone else
Okay,
wanna...
who wants to go first?
I'll go first, because honestly, I have the least... Okay, so, first off, I believe that it should have started off not with Qui-Gon Jinn finding Anakin, but it should have started off kind of shortly after. It should give the backstory. It should give the exposition of Qui-Gon Jinn found Anakin. I don't think he should be taken out, because Qui-Gon Jinn is an important character. He's one of the characters that, does more research into life after like death, like the Force, like the ghost that you see at the end of Episode 6.
Wait, can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
First, some rules for this fight. We're allowed to take stuff from other sections of Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
But we can't do things that wouldn't be possible at the time.
Yeah.
Like we can't be like, hey, Rey should be in the prequels. Like, yeah, we can't do that.
That
sort
would
of
be
stuff.
crazy.
We can,
No.
but we can take other parts from the canon and mix it in. And the reason I'm saying this is because my version does that a lot.
Okay, so alright, so
Justifying yourself.
Anakin's being trained as a Padawan, blah blah blah. But what I really wanted was that he wanted to rescue his mother, right? This is confirmed. But I wanted most Episode 1 about that. Episode 1 should have been about this conflict, about him realizing like being a Jedi is not perfect. Being a Jedi comes with sacrifice. Which then leads up to him, you know, going for his mother. Eventually, the Trade Federation, the Separatists, they start causing more havoc. He's trying to get his mother back, and then eventually, again, already in the prequels, she dies, and this is at the end of Episode 1. Because in the prequels, it was in Episode 2.
It was in the middle of Episode 2.
Middle of Episode 2.
So
And
we
it's like in 5 seconds, or it's just it's just like he.
Oh yeah, by the way, do you
he
remember
died-
his mother?
it's
No, you
just-
don't. Well, now she is.
His mother dies, then he goes out and kills all the sand people, and then Padme's like, what happened? And he's like, look at their animals, and I killed them like animals.
Oh my
I hate them.
Just-
Oh my god, yeah. That's pretty spot on, to be honest. Okay, so
Oh my gosh.
here's one of the big parts. So we move on to Episode 2. Honestly, I didn't have many ideas for Episode 1. I wanted Darth Maul to kind of be there, but for one, I wanted a better fight because he just kind of lets Obi-Wan just cut him in half.
Yeah.
Spoiler. He just kind of flops down.
If you haven't seen Episode 3 by now, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You're behind.
no, you're whatever, dude. Anakin is actually Darth Vader.
What?
Anakin is actually Darth Vader.
What?
Oh my
Darth
god.
Vader, Anakin, Darth Vader confirmed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like the writing in general could actually just use a lot of work because a lot of it is just the dedicated, just like all this fancy special effects that actually weren't that too terribly
I
great.
need
Because
it.
it's
More
all
realism.
computer. It was like
Stupid sound
like too much
stages.
computers and all
All-
that stuff, and we all know that by now.
The thing is, like,
and like with especially with poor Natalie Portman, like she had to say this like one cheesy line, no multiple cheesy.
poor
lines.
Hayden Christensen.
Poor Hayden
man.
Christensen too.
Yeah.
Like,
I
those,
like sand.
I like
It's
sand.
coarse and rough,
And
and
then
it gets
Episode 3.
everywhere.
You're breaking my heart.
Against me.
Oh my god.
you. But
No,
Oh,
I'm
those-
on the dark side now, so sorry.
so
yeah.
back to my,
And then Jar Jar.
oh god. Okay, back
What
to
did
my
Jar Jar.
You know,
know,
I
like-
believe that Jar Jar should have stayed. Honestly, in the prequels, I think Jar Jar
Yes.
should have stayed.
Okay.
Yeah, he would
Jar
have
Jar
a lot of
should-
people, but like there was actually there is a good reason why he should probably
Here's
would have
the-
stayed, but like
just don't
written
put
a
him
little
in-
bit differently.
don't-
But
Don't put him in every scene.
Yeah.
Don't put him in every
Okay,
scene.
so Episode 2. Episode
Even-
2 should have... Here's what I think should have happened. There should have been a new Seth Apprentice. To, And I believe that Palpatine shouldn't have been a Sith at first. So you have, I guess Count Dooku. I guess Count Dooku. He could be the main, because the Sith rule by two. You have the Sith Master, the Dark Lord of the Sith, and then the Sith Apprentice. So like Darth Maul was the Apprentice, and Sidious throughout all the prequels was the Dark Lord. I think for a little bit, Dooku should have been, or Darth Tyrannus, he should have been the Dark Lord. So they have a sort of like much more primary antagonist. They have someone they need to go after, right?
Right.
The big bad.
Right.
But he's slow. He's not tempting Palpatine. But Palpatine's kind of seeing where they're going.
Yeah.
He's seeing the Separatists. He's seeing the dark side. He's like, okay, I'm seeing where this. And I don't know where he would be a Jedi. Like I don't know where he would already be a Sith. Because again, it's kind of like.
Because we know
It's
he
a little
was
buggy.
used to be a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the fallen Jedi.
Right,
He's not one of those.
But
True. Evil Sith. He's a fallen Jedi.
Yeah.
right.
Turn
So
Sith.
Reasons for falling never adequately explained.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that would be nice. I think that would have been better. That would have added a lot more. I think if we would have saw that.
Yeah,
Just
so-
it didn't have to be like a whole thing, but it could have been like just there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so one thing I like, Qui-Gon Jinn is talked about in the movie as if he was I can't remember his name, the Darth one who he could bring back people from, like keep people alive. How Palpatine tempts Anakin with
Darth Plagueis.
Darth.
Yeah, it was Darth Plagueis
Plagueis? Yeah, Darth Plagueis.
who could resurrect people,
Yeah,
but
Darth-
not himself, or
Yeah.
could.
But so I believe.
All right, that's another tangent. That's for another time.
So basically, this Sith Apprentice, who I'd imagine is a lot younger and more like, a lot more he's not Kylo Ren, like he's not out of control kind of thing, but he's young, he's vulnerable, and like, he sees that he's not really tempting Anakin, but also like how Palpatine is seeing Dooku, seeing like, oh wow, this works. Anakin is seeing this apprentice use the dark side emotions, which he is experiencing, for his own good.
Right.
So he's kind of not being tempted, but he's definitely seen some good parts. So most of the second episode is about like struggles with the clones, like how the Republic, like the Jedi Council doesn't approve of the clones, but the Republic's like, oh yeah, by the way, you're not all generals, even though you're kind of like pacifists.
Yeah.
Peacekeepers.
You're peacekeepers. No, you're army generals now. Sorry, but so all
Now you have
the
to go kill a bunch of droids.
the clones come along. Jango Fett. I don't know what happened to Jango Fett. I didn't really care for Jango Fett, to be honest.
He
was
was
kind of
he was
interesting.
needless fan service.
Yeah, but
He was there for that Boba Fett.
he was there for
Yeah.
Boba. That's it. But so basically, episode 2 ends off with the Sith Apprentice, like with Obi-Wan. See, you remember how like multiple times and like Anakin and Obi-Wan were both kind of tempted, like they were obviously the dark side was making a ploy, like, oh, you should come join us, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
He tries to do the same thing with the light side, but it does not work.
Right.
The apprentice makes a big stand. He refuses to be captured. Obi-Wan has to kill him.
Right.
Anakin sees this, and he's being really conflicted about it. Here's where it gets cool. So you see, in episode 3, Palpatine just goes nuts, right?
Right.
Palpatine decides, like, okay, you know what? No, there's something wrong with the light side. We're not getting anything done. Order 66.
Okay.
Midway into the movie. So Order 66, all the Jedi are happening.
Boom, 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 boom.
But here's the cool thing. Within episode 1 and 2, Yoda was talked about. Yoda was mentioned. He was like, regarded as like, oh, the high council member.
Yeah.
But now in episode 30, he's finally coming along as a refugee,
Right.
as a runner. So Obi-Wan, Yoda, maybe a couple of other people. I don't know.
Poor Mace.
Fenella Druce
Okay.
from Connect Star Wars. What's his name?
Poor Mace. Why?
I don't know where Mace. I guess Mace Windu would still be with them.
Well, he was out a window.
Rex.
Yeah. But
Ahsoka Tano.
So all these Jedi are obviously on the run, and Senator Bail Organa, which is Leia's not Leia, Leia's granddad, Padme's Padme's father. He's kind of putting them under his protection, so he gives them a place to stay, probably on Naboo. But so then the Separatists, they don't really take control, right? So obviously they don't take control. They were, I'm gonna imagine they were already defeated by the time episode 3 began.
Right.
But then now they're staging this Jedi rebellion again, right?
Right.
So here's the cool thing. Anakin, he's not like again, he's in this sort of like neutral zone now, right?
Right.
So he's not really he's definitely doubted the Jedi side by now. He's definitely like, all right, no, the light side's not working, but he doesn't want to go to the dark side because he's seen all these bad stuff happen. And then he's like, instead of the whole Padme thing, like, oh, she dies, like, right after he, like, hurts her or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I believe she dies during childbirth, and he sees his children. And he's like, no, I have to bring her back. I have to bring her back. And he just goes nuts. Okay. He goes, not, like, insane, but he's, like, just doing anything. Really cool. He's carrying her body everywhere. Yes. And he's going just completely desperate. I'd imagine the movies would be kind of long, by the way. But,
yes, but...
Well, mine would be, let's be honest, mine would be very long, too. So,
let's go for a Lord of the Rings thing.
And he's finally confronted by all the Jedi. Like, I'm talking, like, Yoda, I'm talking about Yoda, what's his name? Mace, Obi-Wan.
Kit Fisto.
But I imagine...
Yeah.
Kit Fisto, I remember him. But imagine...
Ahsoka Tano.
He fights... died in the Starfighter.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Okay, so... But... Remember that's the president? He gets joined by Palpatine and Dooku, who I'd want to still be alive by now.
Yeah.
He has to join them, and basically it splits up into all these fights. You have Dooku against Mace Windu and probably most of the other Jedi.
Right.
Sidious versus Yoda.
Right.
And then, again, Obi-Wan versus Anakin. And all this happens, Anakin gets the chop, arms, legs gone, right. Dooku dies. And Palpatine just kind of scoots away. Like, honestly, the dark side kind of loses. Because it's about 4 on 3, right?
Yeah.
But, of course, Palpatine's still in charge.
Right.
So, all this thing that Mace Windu did and, like, Yoda did just screwed them over because now he knows where they are, Naboo. And now he knows, like, okay, there is refugees. Senator Organa gets executed for treason. Mace Windu also gets executed.
Yeah,
he gets caught. Yoda gets away. Obi-Wan gets away. And then... Oh, also, this is a good point. I'd also imagine that, what's Anakin's... Not Anakin. Luke's, like his adopted father, what's his name?
Wait, it was,
his adopted father? Owen.
Owen, yeah. Owen gets involved in rebellion. He's like a starfighter, right? So he gets really well known. So that's why Obi-Wan has the courage to go give him over to Owen before instead of popping up like, hey,
so
remember this cousin?
Yeah.
Remember,
so how does Leia end up with?
So
how does Leia?
Technically, Owen was his uncle.
Yeah.
Leia is treated as completely innocent and is taken care of by the nobles and royalty of.
Okay.
So that's about it. Honestly, I had a very vague idea.
All right.
Well, that's quite the idea.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yours just sort of. I mean, okay. So what I noticed about yours is that yours just sort of changes events around and like doesn't really like change all that much. Yeah. Mine is the opposite. Mine is absolute scorched earth.
Well, then let's hear yours.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you right now what I'm scrapping. Okay. First of all, I'm not scrapping midichlorians. Believe it or not. Bear with me. Sorry, I'm scrapping Padme. Yeah. I'm scrapping Padme. And or at least how she is now, and I'm scrapping a large amount of like the pointless side characters, like and yes, I'm scrapping Jar Jar as well.
No.
So
don't scrap him in his entirety because here's why. Back when the Phantom Menace came out,
No.
Okay.
No. There will be comic relief. Believe me. I know that there needs to be.
The thing is, like to minimize Jar Jar, but don't get rid of him completely. Like I read this from Vice.
But here's the thing.
Minimize. But like, hold on, no. Because like there's a reason. Because like Jar Jar actually became a very important figure to LGBT audience members during when the prequel series actually came out. And well, especially Patrick, think of face.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That's actually, Vice magazine. Yes, they wrote about that, and that's actually a thing. That was actually a thing. Same thing with like Padme because she was all campy and all that stuff. That was actually a thing.
So, wait, are you saying Jar Jar Binks was queer representation?
Was the closest thing to queer representation.
That's like the biggest insult to the LGBT community.
I know. Yes, thank you. Well, okay, yeah, but there was something. But really, though, Finn and Poe. Okay. Sorry.
Finn. Okay, so listen. And I agree. Finn and Poe should be the new couple. They said they're rewriting some stuff due to audience.
No, we're not rewriting.
All right, Justin.
I have a thing. I have a tried problem. Justin, just okay. So basically. The whole point, the entirety of my prequel series will revolve around the Clone Wars, and as in the first and here's the thing: the Clone Wars are not as they are in the actual prequels. The first movie, The Phantom Menace, will be about a Cold War. It's a Cold War between the Republic and the Federation.
Ooh.
And the thing,
Well,
and
the Federation or the Separatists?
yeah, Separatists. I mean,
Okay, because I mean the Federation is just
Yeah.
like one
yeah,
group
sure,
within
sure.
the.
Yeah, sure. With between the and the Separatists, Rex. Do you guys know Rex?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be in this movie. He's in this movie. And Asajj Ventress, she's in this movie.
Oh.
So basically, Anakin is already a teenager in this movie, and an apprentice Jedi. And Padme is also an apprentice Jedi.
Apprentice to Obi-Wan, is Qui-Gon in there at all?
Qui-Gon is there. But Obi-Wan is not his apprentice. They're just very good friends. Qui-Gon
is
is
Anakin's master.
Anakin's master is Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Qui-Gon is the master of Padme. See, and Padme the Jedi.
Oh.
Wow.
Padme was like a noble as in Naboo, but she was about to be married off, so she decided to join the Jedi Order instead to escape that life. And so Padme, so Padme is basically
So many tangents.
yeah, and Padme is basically a very rebellious. She is a pod racer. Like she pod races in her free time. Like I'm imagining.
Is she turning into Anakin?
No. I'm imagining that she's the more rebellious one at first because she had lived this secluded life. And like in the beginning, I'm imagining her character introduction would be like they're talking about like Anakin is a little bit angry and stuff like that, and is like, so what about your apprentice? And she's like. And then it cuts to her like pod racing, and so
I thought Anakin was the only human that could pod race because remember it's insinuated that like.
I'm dropping that.
Okay.
Okay, and also
Man.
I want to sow some dissent within the Jedi. So basically, the midichlorians is like the scientific way that the Force is accepted, but not everybody, but not all the Jedi believe it. Like it's sort of a divide between like a sort of science versus like this the idea
Religion
that's
and
more
philosophy.
and
More of a
Yeah.
scientific or religious thing is what you're going with.
yeah and so basic plot of this movie, there is a Queen of Naboo. They're still sort of trying to rescue her, but it's not like they're not trying to rescue her from signing a tree. Like they're trying to kill her and they're trying to rescue her. And to skip a bunch of stuff, it's going to end with like Darth Maul and Asajj Ventress assault Naboo. And Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon face off against Darth Maul, and Qui-Gon gets killed. And Asajj Ventress faces off against Padme, and she wounds her quite badly. And Anakin is really mad about this, and so he, against Obi-Wan's orders, gets into a ship and follows them. And by the way, I'm going to say Anakin is not using his signature lightsaber. Padme is using his signature lightsaber in this movie.
What's Anakin using?
Anakin's using like a green lightsaber, I think, or something like that. Some
What
miscellaneous
hill?
lightsaber.
Are you talking lightsaber?
No.
You're talking double?
No. And he's so he goes to the. Do you remember the Clone Wars animated series?
Yeah.
Like the 2D one. You know,
Yeah.
do you remember the fight between Anakin and Asajj Ventress?
Vaguely.
Well, basically, Anakin and Asajj Ventress face off in like a raining forest and like these dark ruins, and that's going to be the climax of this movie: Anakin versus Asajj Ventress. Because and the Emperor is watching because he wants to see which one will he take as his apprentice. And, like the Emperor is saying, like, is Asajj good enough? Is Asajj good enough to replace Darth Maul as my apprentice? And so.
Wait, is this all in one episode, or are you talking
Yeah,
about?
this is all in one episode.
All that in one episode. Well, okay, well.
Not much. This actually isn't that much, because like the Emperor's just watching this fight between the two.
So
and
Asajj Ventress versus Anakin so soon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Do
and
you want to wait like an episode or two?
No. This is important.
Okay.
They fight. Anakin.
It's like
Anakin
the big battle at the end.
Yeah,
of episode one.
Anakin beats her, loses his lightsaber in the process, and takes her red lightsaber and kills her with it. And that's sort of his first step into the dark side. In the anime series, it is as well. And basically, when he goes back, Padme thanks him, and she's like, "Hey, I know you lost your lightsaber. Here's mine. I can get another one."
There you
And
go.
so yeah, and basically the wars erupted, and also Rex is in this movie, and also he does have a love interest, and it's not contrived. There's a reason for it. He has a love interest, and his love interest dies in this movie. Like he's part of the team with Obi-Wan and Anakin, and then in the next in the next in Attack of the Clones. Yeah. I'll get there. In Attack of the Clones, uh, basically the war has erupted. It's like a huge, and basically this is going to be like a war movie, as in like Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme are all fighting this war. General Grievous is in this movie.
Qui-Gon's still there. He's fighting too.
No, Qui-Gon's dead. Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon.
Alright.
Wait,
And
so
that's
that's
vital.
Alright.
That's a vital point.
Yeah, and in Attack of the Clones, basically, I'll just tell you how it culminates. It culminates in this dual thing where, I have to explain this. Basically, clones are being made, but they're being made from the top fighters in the Republic Army, and so like, Rex's dead love interest was made in like, there's a clone of her now, and he sort of doesn't like her because he's like, you're wearing her face, but you're not really her. And then like and then at the end of the movie, the is going to be like the Emperor confronts Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin as well, and Darth Maul is there too. And it's going to sort of split off into this two-way lightsaber fight. It's going to be Padme and Anakin versus the Emperor, with Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul. Obi-Wan kills Darth Maul, and the Emperor basically hurts Padme and Anakin very badly. And I'm imagining like the score just going crazy at this point. Mm-hmm. And also Rex is also leading an assault on the droid base, like on Geonosis. And at this point, he and his love interest clone have sort of bonded, and like it ends with the wedding between Anakin and Padme. Their romance develops throughout these two movies, so it's not so rushed and forced. Mm-hmm. And the marriage isn't 2 minutes long, and also Obi-Wan is there and he congratulates them, because
so the Jedi Order isn't.
They're not it's still frowned upon, but they're not like, no way. Like, yeah. And okay, so here's episode 3. Anakin is very, very mad that he lost to Palpatine, because this is the first time he's ever really lost. And so he sort of starts going, and like he and Padme go on a manhunt for Sidious, while Obi-Wan, Rex, and his love interest are all sort of like continue fighting the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. They win the Clone Wars. Meanwhile, Anakin has found Sidious, while Padme is indisposed, searching on another planet, and he gets Mace Windu. Mace Windu has been a side character at this point. He's just sort of been like this friendly Jedi to Anakin, and they get a task force of Jedi, and they all go together. Anakin doesn't get left behind, and basically Sidious demonstrates an extremely powerful use of the Force, as in he makes Anakin think he's fighting Sidious when in reality he's fighting Mace Windu. So he stabs Sidious and then he stabs Mace Windu, and then Sidious is like, do you really? And Sidious basically just goes like, you just killed all of your fellow Jedi. And he's like, do you understand? You cannot win. You've lost against me twice. And do it. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. And
so it's either,
so Anakin's like,
join me or die.
Yeah, and then Anakin's like, spare Padme, and I'll join you. And then he's like, okay. And so, and then Order 66. Anakin and Obi-Wan face off in the Jedi Temple. This is not the climax of the movie. Mm-hmm. They face off, they have a fight, and largely the dialogue is the same, except Anakin only gets sort of bested by Obi-Wan, not completely, like, pwned.
Decimated?
Yeah, and
do you say the word pwned? Is this 2008?
Shut up. And he retreats to Mustafar. Meanwhile, Padme comes back and she's like, what happened? Why are all the Jedi dead? And Obi-Wan's just like, Anakin's a bad guy.
Your boyfriend?
Now. Yeah, and then
your husband?
Yeah, and
at this point,
Padme is like, by the way, something I forgot to mention. Padme had Luke and Leia between movies. Okay. Like, they're like one at this point. And Padme's like, this is my responsibility. I wasn't there for Anakin, so I'll go face him. So the final fight on Mustafar is not between Obi-Wan and Anakin, it's between Padme and Anakin.
And mother of.
By the way, during Order 66,
everything goes to crap.
During Order 66, by the way, Rex and his love interest is a clone. And Rex has free will and she doesn't. And Order 66 is to kill all the Jedi and those supporting them. So Rex's clone girlfriend like they have a pretty emotional scene where she's like trying not to shoot him, but like she can't like resist it, and so she shoots him. Then she shoots herself, and then his unit basically go off and they start the rebellion. And so Padme and Anakin are on Mustafar, and at this point, Anakin's looking a lot like Darth Vader. Like he's starting to lose his hair and stuff. Like he's getting dark side corruption.
You're breaking my heart.
He's very pale, and
Okay.
like,
No,
the dialogue is not "you're breaking my heart." Nah, because it's just like the dialogue is more like "I'm bringing you back," and it's just like. And the thing is, Anakin doesn't even recognize her. He's just like, "You're going to die, Jedi." And then
what is he?
Yeah.
Is he like Sidious?
well, he's like,
now?
"You're
No,
going
he's not that. I wouldn't
yeah,
play
he's,
this
like,
video.
he's just like, "You're
You're
going to die, Jedi." And then like Padme's like, "I don't want to fight you." He's like, "If you will not fight me, you will meet your destiny." Basically an echo of his conversation with Luke in episode 6. By the way, Padme's lightsaber is green, so parallels. And
Parallels.
and the fight isn't as big scale as Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight, but it is similar. And basically it ends with like the building that they're fighting in about to explode from like lava exposure because they've been messing it up.
I'd imagine the score would be a lot less like hectic and a lot more somber.
Yeah, it is. And what happens is basically Padme's like, you know, this thing's exploding. Let's stop fighting. And then he's like, "No, I'll kill you, Jedi." And then she's like, fine. She deactivates her. She basically like she cuts his arm off. Like he's had his arms cut off by Sidious at this point. But she cuts his robot arm off, getting his lightsaber away from him, and then she deactivates her lightsaber, throws it away, and she basically creates a force field with the Force and like sort of embraces him.
Force field.
Yeah, embraces him and to protect him from the explosion. And then like at that moment, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, I recognize you now, Padme." And then it explodes. Padme dies. Anakin's badly burned and stuff. Obi-Wan comes and he's like to find out what happened. Then all he finds is Anakin's lightsaber, and so he just takes the lightsaber and he basically has to leave. And so and then Sidious finds Anakin, and then Anakin's like Anakin is just, and so that's basically the setup for episode 4. And also Padme's ghost sort of comes to Obi-Wan in the end and says, "You cannot tell my children about me because, you know, just tell them because they have to focus on saving their father and stuff like that because she hasn't given up on him." The end. All right, so
Okay,
we're running out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're running out of time now. We're gonna be back next week.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna be back in 2. Never mind. We're gonna be back in 2 weeks with another episode and a slightly different cast. So bye. And stay tuned for our next episode where we teach you how to skin a lion.